Although I've played a lot of games in my time on this earth, one of the things that you'll often hear me bring up is how I haven't played anything from the long-running Pokemon franchise. That's right, not a single color, gem, or even sun. This confession is usually met with gasps and shocked faces. But the truth is that I was well outside of the target demographic when the first game washed up on our shores in 1998. As a result, I somehow missed out on the phenomenon and have yet to play a single Pokemon game. Or have I? It was while playing through the delightful new game Penko Park that I suddenly realized that I put a couple of hours into Pokemon Snap back in the day. I only remember this because the newest release from the wonderfully named developer Ghostbutter is so similar to Nintendo's on-rails photography game that it shook that buried memory right out of my brain. Man, it really makes me wonder if there are other Pokemon games that I've completely forgotten about playing. Welcome to Penko Park, an abandoned wildlife preserve filled with cute and mysterious monsters that are just waiting to get their pictures taken. Don't worry, this is nothing like Jurassic Park. The unusual creatures we run into in this preserve are both friendly and harmless, with many just going about their day as you roll through their habitat. It's a lot like going to the zoo, only with the animals replaced by adorable monsters. And I don't mean those pocket monsters from that Snap game, but rather a whole new group of creatures that definitely don't get into one-on-one fights for our amusement. Look, as I mentioned before, Penko Park is almost a beat-for-beat retelling of a certain Pokemon game released in 1999 on the Nintendo 64. It's an on-rails journey through a series of short levels, each filled with dozens of stylish creatures that come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. The goal is to use your camera to zoom in on each of the beasts and take the perfect shot. You'll then take the best pictures and post them in your photo album, which will turn into experience points that'll net you new abilities and open up different paths. The goal is to keep going on the ride until you've located all the creatures and filled up your photo album. Of course, you'll need to do more than just take pictures of the monsters standing around. As you take more pictures, you'll unlock new abilities that'll allow you to interact with the park around you. This means opening up new paths, picking up scattered items, clearing shrubbery, and throwing Penko balls at the creatures. These sorts of actions will sometimes anger the beasts, or maybe even make them dance, all of which you'll want to document with your camera. Or maybe you just want to take a picture of them sleeping. Each of the monsters in the park has a checklist of pictures that you'll need to take, which can sometimes mean puzzling out how to get them to act a certain way, or in some cases, not act a certain way. If all this sounds kinda simple, then it's because it is. You'll eventually earn abilities that'll speed up and even stop the cart you're in, but there isn't much hidden depth here. It's just a pleasant ride through a few different parts of the park, which turns out to be a whole lot more interesting than I expected. I suppose it helps that the small stages are not just diverse, but fun to explore, even on the 10th or 15th visit. The paths are full of funny-looking creatures to observe, and there's just something satisfying about taking the perfect shot of each of them. I mean, I'm not sure I'm going to remember much about this game a year from now, but there's something about the relaxing vibe that kept me coming back until I caught, or rather, photographed them all. Now, compared to Pokemon Snap, Penko Park is a little light on the content. Although there are multiple paths and dozens of monsters to see, there are only 3 short levels to ride through, as well as a boss fight at the end. The good news is that all 3 are wildly different, ranging from exploring a forest to uncovering a volcano to going underwater to find the perfect shot. I enjoyed each of these stages, but was left wanting a little bit more. This is the kind of game that you'll likely complete in just a couple of sittings, though it'll certainly take some doing if you want to completely fill up your photo album. A lot of the charm comes from the stylish monster designs and how they interact with the different parts of the park. We're given a wide variety of creative creatures to take pictures of, and they all look great. The art style and relaxing music are 2 of the reasons that I kept wanting to come back. This is a game that doesn't have the luxury of relying on creatures that you already know and love, and I think the Penko Park is actually better for it. If nothing else, the game shows the developer Ghostbutter knows how to create surprising and often memorable monsters. That's a really good talent to have when it comes to making video games. Although it's a blatant ripoff of Pokemon Snap, you really shouldn't hold that against Penko Park. This is a delightful game that takes you down a relaxing path full of inventive and often adorable monsters. And with a camera in hand, you'll want to seek out and get to know all of the creatures in order to take the perfect picture. It's short, and I'm not all that sure how much of it I'm going to remember in a year, but Penko Park is a charming game with a whole bunch of funny-looking monsters. Look, if you're like me and can't go to the zoo because of lockdowns, then this is a pretty good alternative that won't cost a whole lot of money. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite video game monster? I'm just gonna go ahead and let you decide what qualifies as a monster, so let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back tomorrow with reviews of both Bouncer's Story and True Hate. I'll let you guess why we're covering both of these at once. Also, tune in next week for a full marathon of EGM and the launch games. That's right, we're going to be running 4 episodes back to back in order to celebrate the launch of both Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Man, I can't believe that's happening next week. Where did this year go? Anyway, if all of this sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,